This is a distance, rate, and time problem, but it's not quite as obvious as going up the river and back, but it is of that form. Rate times time equals distance is the equation to remember for this kind of problem. Let's read through it. We have, let's see, a semi-truck travels 300 miles through the flatland in the same amount of time that it travels 180 miles through the mountains. The rate of the truck is 20 miles per hour slower in the mountains than in the flatland. Find both the flatland rate and the mountain rate. Let's bring up our rate times time equals distance table. That's rate times time equals distance, rate times time. And this is a table that I'd recommend memorizing for this kind of problem. It's just the best way to do it. Okay, let's see. So this truck is going, let's see, we have the flatland, so let's put flatland here and through the mountains as well. Okay. Mountains. Okay, the rate. Okay, let's just start putting in information. So 300 miles to the flatland is the distance, 300. And 180 miles to the mountains, all right? The rate of the truck is 20 miles per hour slower in the mountains than in the flatland. So we don't know what the rate of the truck is on either. So let's do x. So let x be the rate of the truck on the flatland. Okay. Now it says the rate of the truck is 20 miles per hour slower in the mountains. Okay, x minus 20. There we go, 20 miles per hour slower in the mountains. Now we don't have much about time. When the problem doesn't say much about time, it's usually an indicator that we're going to use this. Time equals distance over rate. The other useful equation for this kinds of problem. Time equals distance over rate. Okay, and all that is just solving for t. Okay, so distance over rate gives 300 over x, and here we have 180 over x minus 20. Okay, when it says the same amount of time, well, same means equal. So same amount of time means we're going to set the two times equal to each other, which is great. We're just going to grab this column out of our table, set them equal, and that'll give us our equation to solve. Then we'll see what we get from there. So let's do that. 300 over x equals 180 over x minus 20. From here we cross multiply. Anytime you get a proportion, you just cross multiply, bring those denominators up to the other side. So we get 300 times x minus 20 equals 180x. Okay, so now we're on to something here. 300x minus 300 times 20 is 6,000 equals 180x. Let's get all the x's on the left, everything else on the right. So I'm subtracting 180 from both sides to get 120x equals 6,000. Finally, divide both sides by 120 to get x equals 50. Okay, so what in the world have we solved for? Let's go back to where we defined our variables. Right here we just said let x be the rate of the truck on the flatland. So let's see what the problem is actually asking for. Find both the flatland rate and the mountain rate. Okay, so we still have some work to do. So flatland, we have 50 miles per hour. And in the mountains, okay, well, it's 20 miles per hour slower in the mountains, so 50 minus 20, 30 miles per hour. So there's how we present the answer to this one. You want to make sure at the end of these problems, go back and reread the problem and make sure that you've actually answered the problem. You wouldn't just want to leave it as x equals 50 and move on. That's not quite finished.